All right, I believe we are live. As always, I like to give it a minute before some people join in here. I see it on my social media here. Looks like we're live on YouTube, Facebook, my X account here. We'll let everyone hop in here before we get started. Give everyone like a minute or two to join in. Thank you to all the people who immediately started watching.
You're guys, the ones we like.
Yeah, you're
the punctual ones.
Yeah, you're my favorite. You're my favorite. It's all 45 of you. So thank you for showing up early here. We'll give it probably like another, I don't know, like 30 seconds.
I feel like a teacher in class.
No.
Like, come on, the bell rang.
No, come on. I mean, it's opening day. People are, they're grilling their hot dogs.
I hope so.
They're picking up their best Pirates jersey from the dry cleaner.
All right.
Yeah, so I give them a little bit of a grace period here. We'll give it another 20 seconds or so. People are joining in. All right, yeah. Jason Mackey. I love that. That might be enough incentive to get started here. All right, I think we waited long enough.
Let's do it.
Yeah, people can hop in here and continue to watch. Welcome everybody to the Post-Gazette's opening day live stream here on the Post-Gazette Pirates YouTube channel. If you don't already, and I'm going to do this every time we do a live stream on this channel, please subscribe at PG Pirates on YouTube. It costs you $0. It's absolutely free, and you get daily analysis of this team in addition to what you can read and consume via podcast format through what the Post-Gazette provides. This new YouTube channel gives you even more stuff. Jason will have weekly content. I'll have daily content on here. We'll have a lot of good stuff for you to follow. We did throughout all of spring training. We'll have a lot more during the regular season. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already.
You want to do that too, because that's where Noah predicts Paul Skenes starts.
If you like and subscribe,
yes, he will tell you, especially if you buy tickets, he'll be able to tell you exactly when Paul is
starting. I will tell you
so
when Paul is starting in August, September. Hell, I'll tell you when he's making his first 5 starts of 2026. So, yeah. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you don't already, and obviously check out our work at post-gazette.com. We're coming to you from Little Havana, 2 blocks away from loanDepot Park.
Yep.
Is it? Yeah.
Yep.
Opening day right around the corner. We'll be heading there in a little bit, but first we want to chat with all of you. Jason, happy opening day.
Happy opening day. It's a holiday.
Yeah.
It should be a holiday.
It should be. I think so. So Pirates, 4-10.
It bothers me. Our Post-Gazette style has opening day with not capital letters. And it's something that has existed, I think, since, far before I was born.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it should be capitalized. It's a holiday. It's like Christmas.
I totally agree. I actually like this day just as much as Christmas.
I agree.
So, and I have to work on this day. So, but yeah, so I think we can just get started here on the Bucko talk here. I think we can begin it with just a review of spring training.
Okay.
I'll ask you. You were down there with me.
I should be asking you.
Okay.
I was there for a week.
All right. So what do you want to ask me about spring training?
All right. Well, what was it like covering the first full one? Because you got a week with me last year, and then you did it all yourself.
It was a grind.
Yeah.
In hindsight, Andrew and I, when we were both down there, we should have scheduled off days for each other a little bit more, maybe. But we didn't. I mean, it doesn't really sink in that, like, not only are there just not a lot of off days, the days are long.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of waiting. There's a lot of waiting in traffic. If you go to any restaurant that's worth its weight, there's a lot of waiting to get a seat. There's a lot of waiting to talk to players. There's a lot of waiting for the games to start. It's just a lot of waiting around. It's also a lot of work. It did a number on my immune system. Thankfully, you were down there the week I got the actual Bradenton flu.
Knocked them out.
Yeah, not the one where you think the Pirates are going to win 100 games, but the one where your immune system breaks down and your coworker needs to hold down the fort while you're down there. So
I didn't hold anything down. All right.
But anyway,
actual baseball stuff.
It was a good grind.
Yeah,
it was a good grind.
It's the kind of thing too that you look back on it, you're like, man, that was really cool that I did that.
Yeah, it was fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So you wrote today about this team being a bunch of grinders. And I thought it was an excellent piece.
Thank you.
What did you learn that fits in the under the umbrella of that identity? Like, how is this team a bunch of grinders? How are they going to be able to? Because I think the narrative around the Pirates right now, people don't think they're going to win more than 76 games.
Yeah.
You're around it every day. You see the way this stuff is coming together. What gives you that feeling that they could win more than 76 games?
Well, I mean, as far as the grinder identity, I mean, that's what it needs to be. Yeah. If they're sitting here saying, oh, we're going to hit a whole bunch of home runs, we're going to blow teams out of the water, that's just not how this team is built. This team is built to win a lot of close games.
Sure.
And the reason that I think they can have a little bit more success than they did last year is because last year they lost a lot of close, winnable games. And I think some of the changes that they made, and I know some of the people watching this are going, what changes? Well, I think the additions to the bullpen are going to save them a lot of games that they didn't win or they let slip away last year, especially in the May, June area of the schedule where they could have built a better foundation heading into the All-Star break, maybe been over 500. I think that if you get something more from Bednar, or even if Bednar doesn't work out, you have a lot more options for leverage innings in the 8th and 9th. Whereas last year they didn't. They had Chapman and Holderman, and that was it. And Holderman wasn't even healthy for some of that portion. So I think their bullpen depth is going to allow them to have a little bit more success in close games. And I also think the offense will get a little better. I don't know how much better. I don't think it'll be better enough to get them to the playoffs. But I think a new hitting coach who can come in and give guys an individualized approach at the plate, rather than kind of tweaking everything to fit everything in one format, will help out a lot. So will it be enough? I don't think so to make the playoffs, but that's how I see them grinding out close wins a little bit more by cutting out some mistakes and finding ways to blow baseball games.
Yeah, I mean, I look at what the Pirates did last season, and I see a team that should have won about 84 games. They blew a lot of them with poor fundamentals, late game execution, late game deployment, a lot of that stuff. And, yes, I would have liked to have seen them make more changes and add more this offseason too, especially at first base. I don't like the Spencer Horwitz trade. I'm not, I'm not changing an opinion on any of it, but there is a decent team under there somewhere that can win games. Like you're saying, if you can figure out the bullpen execution, if when you get a lead, you can keep it, as opposed to a lot of what happened. Like, this is a 76-win team, and that's probably, +5. If you get Brian Hayes healthy, Oneil Cruz has a whole nother level. Jack Suwinski was a shell of himself. They only got part of Skenes. They only got part of Joey Bart. There's a lot of places you can go to go from 76 to, I'm predicting 84. I'm not saying 76 to 96. But I do think there's more than a 76-win team in there.
Let me ask you this. In the brief time you were down in Bradenton and just following the club from afar, what is your biggest takeaway from just the conversations you've had on how this team can be different? Other than what you just kind of said?
It's more mature.
Okay.
And I say that as somebody who covered the 2021-22 teams. There wasn't the veteranness, cohesion, that sort of thing. One of the things I was most struck by coming down there is how much conversation there was in the clubhouse, how busy of a place. It wasn't like dudes just sitting around in seats, thumbing through their phones. I saw a lot of that in the down years. And it was a lot of like Matt Hagan there talking over hitting with various guys, guys sitting at their locker together talking about hitting, even shooting basketball in the corner. Like, it was a place people wanted to be. They were together. And even hearing things like Tommy Pham going up to Jack Suwinski saying, like, that's not the count you run in, or G1 Bay run a ball out, stuff like that. Like, that just did not happen in previous years. There's like an intolerance for the crap, and good. Like, can you imagine if Tommy Pham was on the team when Rodolfo Castro's cell phone came out of his pocket?
I'm glad he was.
That would have been handled.
Yeah.
That would have been handled, and it wasn't handled before.
Yeah. I think part of it might have to do with continuity as well.
That's a good point.
I mean, unless you're a veteran like a Tommy Pham or a McCutchen, it's hard to hold people accountable when you really don't know them. You can't just come in. And when everyone at that point in time, when you were talking about those years, everyone's either just arriving to the big leagues or just arriving to Pittsburgh on a 1-year contract, where now you have guys like Reynolds, Cruz, Hayes, Suwinski, Keller, Bednar, who have been around on this team in that clubhouse for 3-4 seasons now. They know each other. They can be a little bit more candid with each other, and they can be a little bit more receptive, I think, too, knowing that they're comfortable in that clubhouse, where if a veteran does come in and put them in check, they know, hey, I'm not isolated here. This is a team, and he's going to give it to the other guys just as much as I'll get it if I mess up. So I think that continuity plays a part in it. That's something that's been missing for this team. I still think there's a lot more that can be had in that area in the form of a multi-year free agent signing, which still hasn't happened. But I think that is something that plays into the maturity like you talked about. So let's talk about the opening day roster. It was just announced yesterday. We talked about it a little bit yesterday on the YouTube channel. A lot of left-handers, both pitchers and hitters. We'll start at first base. That's the big question here, right? Who do you think plays the most at first base until Horwitz returns? Is it Triolo or is it Endy?
I was thinking about this because I think it's going to be Endy today, right? Sandy Alcantara on the mound.
I don't know.
You're going to use a lefty against a right-handed pitcher, I would think, unless you want to start Frazier there. It might be Endy. It might be Endy if he hits. He's going to have the opportunity to do it. I don't know how many lefties they're going to see early on. I think if there's a lefty on the mound, you're going to see Triolo. They're going to try to get him in the lineup.
Yeah.
My answer might be Endy. That's kind of crazy to say. I think I was going back and forth between this and our Post-Gazette predictions, which is a subtle plug to check them out at post-gazette.com. I think I picked Endy as the Pirates' breakout player. If I didn't, it was Suwinski.
Yeah, I think we both picked Suwinski.
Okay, all right. Because I didn't want to double up, but like that's what I genuinely feel. But as we're explaining things in a different setting, like those are the two in my head that I think there could really be something there. Mm-hmm. So maybe Endy.
Yeah, I think overall, yeah, you might be right. It's just I don't know if they're going to be as platoon driven.
You don't think so?
This year. Because
if
just
someone gets hot, I'm sure they'll ride them.
Right,
They need the bat.
I think that just based off of the way this roster looks, I mean, there's a good chance they won't have a true right-handed bat on the bench. If Triolo's starting at first, Bart starting behind the plate, and Phams in left field, you're going to have all left-handed bats and then a switch hitter on the bench right now. So I think the way they made this lineup, and I think the same could be said for the bullpen, I don't know if they're going to be as split-driven as they've been in year past. It just might be like, hey, this is a guy we think can hit the pitches thrown by the dude on the mound.
Right.
It might be a little bit more matchup person to person rather than just righty-lefty or lefty-righty. Otherwise, like I don't know how you're going to do that. I don't see how you can make Endy the primary first baseman after he played one game there this whole spring. I think it's still Triolo's spot primarily, and if they do a platoon, it'll be like
how hard
it'll be a 60. Yeah, it's incredibly hard. It'll be like a 60-40 split. So also, if anyone watching, if you have questions, be sure to comment them. We can bring them up and mention them. We have a chat here with people who are commenting on YouTube, on X. People are wishing us, good morning, happy opening day. People are asking about the chickens, which weren't as big of a nuisance.
They weren't. He overplayed the chickens.
No, I promise you, they were bad. They were really bad. They're probably just scared Jason Mackey's here. The big bad columnist rolled into town and they all ran away.
Who's the awkward tall guy? Let's get out of here.
All right. So we talked opening day roster for position players. Let's move over actually to left field now. Is Tommy Pham the everyday left fielder, and does that stay the same way throughout the whole season? If so,
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that will be platoon driven because I think they want to get Jack Suwinski G1 Bay at bats. And I don't think they want to take Bryan Reynolds and Oneil Cruz out of the lineup. So I don't see how Pham – I mean, you could debate whether it's worthwhile to spend $4 million on a platoon 37-year-old outfielder. Fair question.
Yeah.
But I don't – if he plays every day, the other two are going to play every day. Jack hasn't played first. Bay hasn't played second. So what are you going to do? Keep him on the bench and then give him one at bat a game at most? No. You have to platoon somebody.
Yeah, I think that when we start the year, I think Pham will be like the everyday player for like maybe the first 10 games.
Okay.
And then if he doesn't tear the cover off the ball, it's going to quickly turn into a platoon. I think the overall goal here is for Jack to actually become the everyday left fielder. And that should be the goal. Like
I don't think Pham's going to be in the lineup today.
That'll be interesting.
I think it's going to be Jack.
And Jack will be will he be the leadoff hitter then? Or will it be Gonzalez,
no,
IKF?
I think it'll be somebody else.
Okay.
We should bet on this. Not bet anything of consequence.
Yeah. It'll be
friendly bet.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I just said bet the nuts.
I'm not well, hey, listen, betting baseball, not me. March Madness, different story.
All right.
Anyway, I think the goal is to make Jack eventually the everyday left fielder. I think they feel like they got to give Pham the first dibs just because they're paying him more money than most of the outfield, and he has the most service time. So it's like a seniority thing. But I think there's a very good chance by mid-April, end of April, it's Suwinski's the everyday guy, and then they just play Pham against some left-handed pitching. I think that ideally, Pham could be a pretty good fourth outfielder because he can play all of those positions defensively. You can hit him 1 through 9 in the lineup. But I think the best case scenario for this team is Jack becoming an everyday player because that means he's hitting the ball well like he did in 22 and 23.
I don't disagree with you one bit. I think that's a perfectly reasonable take. What I don't understand about what they're doing, like you can't play 4 outfielders. So what are we doing with Ji-hwan Bae and Jack Suwinski?
Yeah.
Like they talk so much about wanting guys to play a secondary position. This is the perfect opportunity for them to play a secondary position. Ji-hwan Bae has played middle infield in the past. Jack Suwinski played first base in high school. I'm not saying that's an ideal scenario, but it does create a pathway to get those guys at bats and get them regular playing time. I just maybe they'll explore that early on in the season. I thought spring training would be a better time to explore it, but it's very odd that hasn't been opened up yet.
Yeah, especially the Bae thing. Like he's played middle infield in the major leagues.
Right. You could platoon him and Nick G if you wanted to. Yeah. If you want to try to get G1 at bats, I mean, it wouldn't shock me if the first week of the season they threw him at second base. And I don't know about you. When I was down there, I didn't see him work at second base.
No, he didn't.
I didn't read or hear anything that he's worked at second base.
Yeah, Shelton said he's just an outfielder now. So
well, they're going to deploy 5 outfielders.
I guess
it'll be fun to see.
Caleb Greenwald asks, who's pitching the 7th, 8th, and 9th with a lead today?
I like it. Good question.
You want to start?
Sure. So I'm thinking about it, Caleb. I think Bednar closes. I'll work backwards. Okay. I think if they get a save opportunity, they'll give the ball to Bednar, and they're going to hope and pray. And I think they want to name him the closer. I think if he pitches well, I think it won't take long for Shelton to commit to that. I'll say Holderman gets the ball in the 8th, and they'll go Tim Meza in the 7th. You could flip those depending on the where you're at in the order. If it's a righty heavy,
I don't know what the order will be, but I think their top 3 back end arms right now, priority wise, would be Bednar, Santana, and Baraki. So I would say Baraki on the set. If we're going traditional 7, 8, 9.
Really, you're not using Holderman in 7, 8, or 9?
I don't know. I mean, Baraki looked so good. I think Baraki is the first left-handed leverage guy out of the pen.
I agree with
right
that.
now.
I
think Wentz and Ferguson are your length guys. I think Meza is probably middle relief. So Baraki is, if they're going to use a left-hander in one of those 3 frames, it's Baraki. It might be Santana and Holderman. I don't know.
I forgot about Santana.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I don't know.
Meza has pitched back ends of games.
I know
he also had a 6 ERA last year.
Yeah, so. I'm not saying he has. I'm just saying I think Baraki had the best spring training out of any relief pitcher on this team.
Man, if he was what he was 2 years ago, gosh, that would be good for them.
So I'll say no Bednar. Yeah, I'll go Baraki in the 7th, Holderman in the 8th, Santana in the 9th.
Okay.
And I don't know what that means long term for David Bednar. I just think that's what they do today.
Do you think they stick with a lot of by committee stuff with Bednar?
I do. I don't think they're going to have a defined role for really anyone in this bullpen aside from the long relief guys.
Okay.
I don't think there's going to be a 7th, 8th, or 9th inning guy. I don't think there's going to be a closer. I think they're going to look at a guy and say, can he hit? If he doesn't hit sweepers well, then they're going to either throw Lawrence or Colin Holderman against him.
Yeah.
If he doesn't hit curveballs well, then that's David Bednar's guy. If he doesn't hit lefties, then they have their Meza or their Baraki option. Sure. They're going to go further with matchups than I think defined roles.
Cool.
JS wants to know, what's the truth? I genuinely believe the Pirates have extreme buyer's remorse on Henry Davis. They clearly don't believe in him defensively, nor his bat. I don't know if that's true.
I don't agree with that.
Appreciate
the question, Jay. I just don't agree with it.
Henry Davis has only played 99 big league games.
Yeah.
That's not a lot. It's tough right now because he had one real opportunity and it didn't go well, obviously. And then injuries played a factor in him never really getting a second opportunity this last year. And then, of course, Joey Bart also was a part of that. And now you just look, I mean, it's worth asking what's Davis's route to becoming an everyday player right now, because there are two catchers ahead of him who have now beat him out for that spot. Endy did so in the back end of 23, and Joey Bart did all last year. And they both did so in spring training.
Would you move him to right field in AAA?
I don't know. Like, are we really going to do this again?
But I mean,
you have an everyday right fielder. You have an everyday right fielder.
I think maybe pathway to play
next year.
Okay.
I do that with the idea of, like, if McCutchen's not around, maybe I make Reynolds the everyday designated hitter, or maybe Davis is the everyday designated hitter.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see a pathway to him being an everyday player this season, barring injury or barring Endy or Joey Bart completely falling off a cliff offensively. I don't see how he can get there.
This is a bit of a conspiracy theory, but putting him in AAA, letting him put up a ton of numbers. I mean, I understand why. Endy had a better spring, so you're going to put Henry in AAA. No problem there. But if Henry mashes in AAA, don't you try to trade him? Don't you try to see what you can get for him? It seems like that would, if you can get something back in return, to me, that seems like the play here.
Yeah, I mean, you're still going to be selling.
I know.
I mean, he's a 1-1 pick.
I know.
And
that's what I'm saying. It's got to be something reasonable. I'm not going to trade him for nothing.
And I don't know what the market would be. I think they would rather. I honestly think if Endy can prove to be a capable everyday catcher, that Bart might be the one they'd be willing to deal out of that trio, just because he has less years of control.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I don't see that happening this season either. So, we'll go further down the line. Andrew asks, will the Pirates add at the trade deadline if they're in a wild card contention or close to winning division? I think so. Yeah.
I think so. And Andrew, you win the award for having the earliest ask on that question.
This
season. The season has not even started yet.
And we're
asking about adding at the trade deadline.
Never too early to start scouting out big trade. I mean, if they're going to make a big move, that's how it's going to have to come. The trade that everyone waited for this offseason didn't really arrive. I think this is the time to make a significant addition, not just, guys who might have some control and are on affordable deals. If they're in the same spot they were last season at the deadline, a couple games out of the wild card, trending upward as a team, I think this year makes more sense than last year to really get aggressive, trade a prospect, and find a marquee name, get the biggest move of the deadline.
I mean, you're in it. You're in it. You owe it to the players in the clubhouse. You owe it to the fan base. You owe it to everybody. I mean, that would be a best case scenario for everybody. It should be no question. You're in it. You add. And I do think they will. I do think that desire would be there.
BW asks, he says he doesn't mean to go back. It's totally fine, BW.
You can go back. That's why we're here.
But go back to Jack Suwinski. How was his attitude, confidence? Seeing him at Pirate Fest, he seems so reserved. That's just Jack.
Right.
Jack's just a quiet guy.
Yeah.
But I actually think Jack seemed very comfortable this spring. I think he's not much of a talker in general, but I think he was like more chatty than ever this spring. In the conversations I had, I mean, just see him joke around. He seemed a lot looser this year, and I understand why that'd be the case. Last year was a struggle for him.
Yeah.
But I think, he was one of the first guys who arrived. He reported the day pitchers and catchers reported. He was one of the last guys I saw getting off the field every day in Pirate City. I think he really came in with a fresh mentality. I think that's what led to a really good spring. Don't know if that translates to a regular season success, but I think he checked all the boxes fans would have liked to see him check this spring.
I sympathize with Jack Suwinski's personality. I'm a lot like that. I'm not as outgoing, as personable, as sunny disposition as the guy next to me.
Yeah.
It's harder for some of us. And I think that's the way Jack is. He's quiet, but if you get to know him, he's a really good kid. He just works his tail off. He knows what he's doing. And I think he was really twisted up last year. I've used that term a lot. And he's a lot better. As Noah's saying, he's in a better place. I don't know if it's ultimately going to translate, but mentally, having been around Jack a few years, this is the best that I've seen him. I hope it works out for him again. Really good kid.
Question from Ian. Why is Nicholas in AAA while we carry 4 bullpen lefties?
Good question, Ian. Good question.
I think the simple answer is Kyle Nicholas has minor league options.
Yeah.
That's really, I think they want experience in this bullpen. Last year they had to carry a lot of inexperience. I mean, even on opening day last year, you had Ryder Ryan and Hunter Stratton in your bullpen. Who was it? Jose, what was the guy who came up, got the win on opening?
Hernandez.
Yes, Hernandez came up. Talk about a great immaculate grid option right there.
Trust me, your brain will be more than fried.
Yeah. So
year of this.
So just looking, I mean, look at the non-roster guys they gave opportunities to. Look at the guys they signed. A lot of them are 5, 6, 7 year service time guys. A lot of guys who have pitched leverage innings, not only in big regular season games, but in the postseason. And so when you have all of those guys competing for roster spots, coming in with 40-man roster spots, and then you have a player like Baraki who's going to make the team as a non-roster invitee, someone's going to get the short end of the stick. And Nicholas, for as good as he looked at times last year and as good as he looked this spring, there's still stuff for him to work on.
Yeah.
Now, I still think he should have made this team. I think he's one of the best 8 relievers in this organization. But it's not like they're sending him down there for nothing to work on. I mean, his control needs to improve. He walked 8 batters in 9 innings this spring. So there's still stuff to work on. I don't think he'll be down there very long. He could probably be their first promotion on the roster this season. I wouldn't be shocked at all about it, but that's why he's not on the team.
Yeah, I don't like it, but I understand. Stay with us.
I'm here.
But I understand why. I understand. Like, I would keep him here and maybe use him in the 7th, the 6th, something like that. I wouldn't, have him in the deep end of the pool right away because of those control issues. I think he has the stuff and the makeup and all this stuff to be with the major league team. But yeah, the answer to your question, Ian, is that he has options.
Yeah, I mean,
it's widening.
If I had to pick someone, Joey Wentz had a really good spring, so it's hard to DFA him.
Yeah.
But I think Nicholas could do Joey Wentz's role just as well, if not better. So that's the swap
I'd make. I think that's the swap that surprised us.
Yeah.
We thought Nicholas would be on. I thought Tanner Rainey would be on.
I thought so too.
But the fact that he doesn't have a buyout and they can send him to Indy, I think kind of leverages that a little bit. But I still thought he was one of their best bullpen arms in spring.
Tanner Rainey had a very good spring. And that was my pick to make it as a non-roster invitee. So I still think we see him. Brian wants to know, what do we expect from Joey Bart? Will he repeat his success from last year or regress to his San Francisco days? I'll start here. I think Joey Bart could be second on the team in home runs this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Ahead of who? Who leads the team in home runs? Oneil. Ahead of Reynolds, huh?
Yeah. I think Reynolds I could predict Reynolds' stat line right now. It'll be like a 795 OPS, 22 home runs, 80 runs batted in, batting average around 270.
Yeah.
But I think Bart could hit 25 home runs this year.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know how much they're going to play him if that's going to operate. He's going to have to hit 25 home runs in 105, 110 games, right?
I think Bart plays probably 100 games behind the plate and maybe another 20 as a designated hitter.
Oh, as the DH. I thought you were going to put him at first base.
No. I can't talk anymore about moving people to first base. No, but I think because of Endy's spot on the roster, any off day for McCutchen is going to be a Joey Bart DH day.
Okay.
Unless they really want to get Bart like some downtime, or maybe get Reynolds just a DH day. I think Bart is the second DH on this team because no one had a better spring offensively than Joey Bart. Derek Shelton even agreed with me. His at-bats were good, like from start to finish. Even if he wasn't getting hits, he's making solid contact. He's taking, pitch or counts 8, 9 pitches deep.
Yeah.
He's seeing the ball well right now. I was very impressed with how he looks at the plate. I think he can be their second best power hitter in the lineup.
So what we're saying to Brian's question, though, you expect a repeat from Joey Bart.
I would think that's more.
You think?
Yeah. I think he will be better. I think he will stay healthy. And if he can stay healthy, he will continue the pace, if not exceed the pace that he had through what I believe was like 90 games last year.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll go with Dan here. We only got time for a couple more. Dan wants to know, what is our win and loss total for the Pirates? Jason, you said 84?
84 and 78, I believe that works out.
How many games out of the wild card do you think they'll be at the end of the season? That might only be like one or two.
One or two. That's what I was going to say. I
brutal.
think they narrowly miss out. I think we both had about the same.
I had 82.
The NL Central. You had 82.
Yeah.
I think they get close. I'm not sure how they fall out of it. Maybe they just can't quite get over that last final hump, or what really causes them the issue. Maybe it's depth and injuries or something like that. But I think 84 and they just miss out.
Yeah, I think they go 82 and 80, just miss out. I think we're going to get to September and this team's going to be 3-4 games out of a wild card spot. Like, it's still going to be interesting. Like,
okay.
We're going to get to the final month of the season and fans are going to say, well, like, if they can really get hot, like, what was that, September 2014, where they went on that crazy run? They'll be like one of those away and they just won't be able to piece it together. I just don't think the offense is going to be enough. The pitching will hold on for as long as it can, but I don't think they'll be able to win as many big games in the final month of the season. Last year, the collapse happened in August. I think this year it might happen a little bit in September. And based off of both our predictions, I think that if either one were to come true, the overarching thing for this season, I think, for this team is we're going to end the year and think, wow, if they just did a little bit more this last offseason.
Oh, no.
They probably could have made the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm tired of talking about this past offseason. There's so much frustration. That's one of the reasons why I'm happy opening day is here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just tired of talking about first base, trades, frustration. Like, let's just see. Whether it's good enough or not, I don't know, but we can't go back and fix December and January. I want to see what they have. That's the reality of this too, and I'm not going to go on a long rant, but like, they do have enough talent to compete. Whether they can put it all together or not, I have no idea. We're going to find out in a couple hours.
Opening day starts in a couple of hours. Paul Skenes versus Sandy. Say it.
Alcantara.
Yeah, he loves saying that. Give me your prediction. What do you expect? Give me a Skenes stat line. Give me a final score.
Okay. I'm going to say the Pirates win 4-1.
Okay.
Skenes goes 6. The pitch count gets up on him. He gives up 1 run, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts.
I'll say 5-2. Skenes goes 6 complete. I'll say 8 strikeouts, no walks. I'll say he goes 6 scoreless innings. So the bullpen
6 scoreless?
Yeah, 6 scoreless innings.
And then you set up the 7, 8, 9, and we can see.
And there we go.
How it goes.
He's Jason Mackey. I'm Noah Hiles. Read all of our coverage at post-gazette.com. And again, subscribe to this YouTube channel. I feel bad I didn't say that enough during this stream. I apologize for not doing that. Subscribe at PG Pirates. Please get this number up. It's been rising all spring. It's the regular season. Get us to 1,000 before opening day. If that happens, I don't know what I'll do, but I'll do something funny for you all. So yes, subscribe. Check out our work. We got to head down to the ballpark. We'll see you. Jason Mackey, Noah Hiles. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.